Se acabó el aburrimiento. Estás en sintonía con PlanetaWrestling.com. Es el sitio oficial de la lucha libre. ¡Gózatelo!
Hello, Kevin. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to talk with the Intercontinental Champion. So let's start with the questions. WrestleMania 32 is the first WrestleMania available in Spain thanks to the WWE Network. What would you like to say to those fans who still don't know whether to subscribe or not?
Well, the WWE Network offers you the chance to go back and watch any, pay-per-view event or a lot of the past Raws and SmackDown and WCW events. So many wrestling, companies, let alone all the original content. I mean, even just that as a wrestling fan myself, that's enough for me to get on board. But on top of that, you get every pay-per-view, including WrestleMania, for the price you pay every month, which is minuscule for all the content that you have access to. So I don't know, if you need more than that to be willing to subscribe, the fact that this WrestleMania is the first one I'll be a part of should be enough, because WrestleMania has always been a huge deal, and I might be a little arrogant here, but I feel like this one is going to be even better because I'm a part of it. So.
Yeah, but that's true, because 2 years ago you bought a couple of tickets to go to WrestleMania's, to watch the matches, and now it's going to be completely different, because 10 months ago you have your debut in the WWE main roster, and now you're heading to WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion. How important is this for you?
That's not quite correct. I didn't buy a couple of tickets. I bought one ticket.
One ticket.
30. I went by myself because that's how huge WrestleMania is. As a wrestling fan, I was already in town in New Orleans for WrestleMania 30 because I was wrestling for various independent promotions at the time. And I wanted to go to WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania, and I couldn't miss it. Because even though I was a professional wrestler already for 13 years at that point, I was still a wrestling fan. I still am today, and I bought a ticket to go to WrestleMania by myself because of how incredible that show is and how big an event it is in the industry, and I couldn't miss it. And now, obviously, walking in 2 years later as Intercontinental Champion is it's an incredible feeling, because I remember sitting in the stands at WrestleMania 30 thinking I have to be a part of this one day. Now it's only 2 years later, and I'm going to defend the Intercontinental title there. That's, there's really no way to put that into words. It's something I'm very proud of, obviously, but that really shows you how big WrestleMania is. I couldn't miss it 2 years ago, and I couldn't be a part of it then, so I bought a ticket to go, and now I get to be a part of it. It's incredible.
That's amazing. Last November you were supposed to perform in Barcelona and Madrid as a part of the European tour, but due to Rollins' injury it changed everything, and you stayed in UK. Now you are announced to be in Malaga and the next April 23rd in Spain as a part of the WrestleMania Revenge Tour. What can you say to those Spanish fans that can't wait to see you here?
Yeah, honestly, I was a little disappointed that I got moved to the other side of the door because I would be missing Spain. I've never been to Spain before, and I'm not somebody who ever really wanted to travel the world. That was never one of my dreams. But I was lucky enough to experience that as a professional wrestler. I got to see a lot of places in the world that I really enjoyed, and I was really looking forward to being in Spain last November. But things happened the way they do, and the card changed, and I was needed on the other side of the tour, which was decided by WWE at the time was the best move. Now I get to actually go to Spain this time, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think as much as people are looking forward to having WWE, in Spain, I'm looking forward to being there just as much as they are.
And just the last question. There's been some rumors talking about a match at WrestleMania between Kevin Owens with you and the Undertaker. But now we know that it's not going to happen. But who would be your dream opponent? Is it the Undertaker in that list?
If a chance ever came to wrestle Undertaker at any point, whether it's at WrestleMania or Raw or a live event in Texas or whatever, I jumped at the opportunity. You know, obviously, the Undertaker is such a huge name and such a huge superstar that WrestleMania is, the place for him, and I'd love to wrestle him. That's why I said in interviews before that if I could pick one dream opponent for WrestleMania, of course it'd be the Undertaker. So yeah, I'd still say the Undertaker just because wrestling anyone at WrestleMania is going to be special, but WrestleMania is synonymous with the Undertaker. So, just because it didn't happen this year doesn't mean it won't happen next year. Who knows? All I have to do is do my part to stay as important as I can on WWE television and be as big of a star as I can, and hopefully, things will work out my way next year, and I'll get in there with the Undertaker.
Hi, Kevin again. I would like to ask you, you're always addressing Michael Cole. Are you opening a door to a possible match in the future with him?
No, Michael Cole's just kind of like the people on Twitter that are just really annoying and think that they can say things without repercussions. Like Michael Cole sits at the commentary table and says some really disconcerting things about everyone, not just me. He'll talk and say some things, questions people's characters or motives or, whatever. And he sits behind that table and he thinks, no, but there's not going to be any repercussions. But that's just not true with me. Just like on Twitter, if people annoy me, I will reply to them and make them feel stupid. I feel like Michael Cole has to be taken accountable, and me yelling at him and pointing out how stupid he is sometimes, I feel like it's my duty almost to make sure that he knows that he's not the genius that he thinks he is.
And you've been more than 10 years wrestling in the independent scene, but you always wanted to make it to the WWE. Now that you are in, is it how you imagine?
I don't know what I imagined, honestly. I just wanted to be a part of it. I wasn't sure how it, I wasn't really sure what it entailed. But I know that every time I come to work, I'm happy to be there, and it's a dream come true, The travel is obviously hard on everyone, but it's just part of the sacrifice you make to be WWE superstar, and, everybody would say that, as hard as it is, being in that ring in front of, all these fans, and getting to do what you love is, it's worth it, and sometimes I get to take my family on the road with me, just like right now my son is about 10 feet away from me playing his video game on the couch, and, to have him with me all week is really special, and, my wife and my daughter will come sometimes too, and, you make it work, and ultimately, it's always been my dream to do this, and while I didn't know what to expect, it's definitely been an incredible ride, and, I just started, so, it sounds corny to say it's a dream come true, but it really is.
Yeah, because you are a very familiar guy. What is the hardest part when you are on tour, when you are touring overseas?
Well, it's obviously not being with my children and my wife, but thankfully thanks to technology today, we have FaceTime, we have all these ways to keep in touch and communicate and see each other. It's also a matter of, WWE takes care of its performers very well, and, I'm building a future for my family, so the time that I have away from them now, it's all, to serve a purpose in the future, and, while that is, it's always difficult not to be there for, I missed my anniversary this year, but my wife was very understanding because she knows that I've always wanted to do this, and she knows it's for the best, it's what's best for our family's future. So not seeing them every day, of course, is hard, but, we make it work, and I'm very lucky to have great kids and incredible wife that support me, and, that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, and would you like to see a brand split returning?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would shake things up and make, make for some very interesting situations and interesting matchups, and, just kind of create a different feel. That's not to say that eventually, if the brand split were to happen, a couple of years down the line, maybe, mixing the rosters back up together wouldn't be interesting as well. Like, I like when things get shaken up. I like when unexpected things happen. So I feel like a brand split could be a bit of a chaotic situation, but I like chaos. I find chaos exciting and interesting. So I'd definitely be for it.
And just the last thing, do you have any best friend in the locker room?
Yeah, I get along with some people more than others. Oddly enough, I would say that my best friend in the locker room is probably Stardust. He's a pretty strange fella, but I don't know, he's kind of interesting to be around. Like I said, I like chaos, and he's a pretty chaotic guy to be around, and I get a real kick out of that. So I'd say Stardust is probably the one I'm closest with in the locker room.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you, sir, and good luck. See you in Spain.